Hello everybody and welcome back to another video on the creating series. Yeah, last episode we built this, our amazing crop tower, and as I came back from vacations, I kind of finished this building and I kind of finished some other things. And you can probably notice the lag, but I finished this, the power plant, or at least the setup for it. I even made fire accumulators. The only issue is that I think there's some issues with my power generation. I'm confused what's going on. Because you see it's consuming 12,000 FE. But I'm making a lot more. Sometimes it jumps up to 20,000. It's complicated. It's weird. I don't know what's happening, but I believe like this one is not powering the network. This one's not powering the network. This one's not powering. Like I only have like 2 or 3 of these ones actually powering the network, and that's bothering me because these guys should be completely filled up to the brim. Because I'm only running 5 excavators, so yeah, that's a little bit worrying. But yeah, I do need to put a building around this. So far it's working fine. It's causing me a lot of lag. You can see the lag, but well, looking there, yeah, everything goes back to normal. So I guess we'll just move back over here. And yes, you can probably notice there's a lot more trucks going on here and doing things, which is good for us because we need them to do all of these things. Mainly, this guy is already working and taking all of this into where it's supposed to be. And of course, the next step is to actually move into this zone and make something out of it. Of course, we added in some lights over here to make this all look all cool and dandy. And of course, you can basically see, because you can see that downstairs is pretty dark and it's not really cool. We need lights. And yes, as we've talked in previous episodes, the entire of this zone will be called the Vlofast Industries, and this building will have 2 different names actually. We had Vlofast Deliveries for the building, but I came with someone of you guys actually gave me a better idea. Like, this should be the delivery part, like the trucks. They should do the delivery, like I have the delivery company. The building should be the Vlofast logistics area, because this is the logistics of how I'm going to do things. And this is basically what we're going to be doing here. We're going to try and make up a zone here where I can try and manage what I need to do and what I want to do in terms of zones. So of course we need to dig up an entrance here, like as all the buildings that you make should have entrances, by the way. You know, don't want to break in like I just did, but yep. You need a proper entrance, you need a proper zone. We have like that's our little office up there, but I'm gonna make a couple of rooms, like designing rooms, where I can just map out this area as well. And I need to work on a couple of blueprints that are gonna be very, very good for those of you that have been suggesting that I use the Phantom train tracks. And of course, if you know the Phantom train tracks, they're actually pretty cool because they're not visible. The only issue, of course, is you can see the recipe actually takes phantom membranes. And in order to get phantom membranes, well, we need to kill phantoms. Now, I'm the type of player that keeps constantly sleeping, so I don't have easy access to phantom membranes. That's why I've moved past the idea of using them. But you know, I thought, well, let's just make like a bunch of these, and then we can try and make something cool out of it. And I got one really cool idea that would really benefit by using phantom train tracks, so that's what I'm going to be doing later down the line with them. I'm going to save them for a very, very cool build I have in mind. Now for today's episode, and as this truck is coming back here, you can see that this dude has 200 buckets of biodiesel. So it's getting pretty filled up, you know, and it's soon starting to fill up this one. These guys are empty at the moment because, well, the liquid is there, but most of the liquid is already been transferred all over the power plant. Then I was kind of shocked because I did nothing to the building. This is the same farm as you saw me built, and it's powering 6 boilers at max speed, and it's stockpiling biodiesel. That means I can probably run like 2 or 3 power plants if I just make like another or optimize this tower. Like, That's insane. But yes, I guess that's like the true power of having like potatoes and tomatoes in a single farm, you know? They can be very, very powerful. But yeah, we can clearly see that I'm getting more plant oil, which means a higher tomato input than potatoes at this moment. Which means we can still optimize this anyway and maybe use the excess for other power plants or even other automations? Possibly. And yes, this building looks really cool with all the trucks coming in and out. I can't get enough of just watching it do his thing. Probably just put a time lapse at the end of the episode, just trucks moving and stuff like that. But of course the building is not finished as we need to continue this side over here. So I was playing around with maps and you can see I got two very different maps at hand. And well, if you can take a look at the right one, which is this one, you can see that it actually shows the machines and the plantations there. And what is this? Well, this is an slice map. Apparently, this map uses the height that you're on to do a map that area. And that is amazing. You can see it on full display where I accidentally made one of those here for the base. And you can see this is my top level. And it looks pretty good because it shows all the things. And I guess it doesn't really properly show you, but you can take a look at the areas that you can see that I have like a lot of machinery hidden behind the main walls, and that looks pretty cool. For the time being, I don't need this, but whenever I got like a multiple layered building that actually has multiple machines, like my main base, well, so I guess I could use this at the main base, and we probably can do it there. This is pretty cool. If you have a lot of stacking things, you can see all of those in here. But right now we're gonna be using this bad boy. I'm unsure if I want to scale it out. There's also this weathered map, which I have no clue what this is. We'll take a look at that when we get to that. But right now, I kind of want to make this one higher. So, made a little bit of a wall here where we can see a couple of automations I want to do. And those will be mostly some of the components from immersive engineering. And then I'm going to probably automate the spool. Or either the gold wire or the electrum wire, and of course the connectors. So I do use them quite a little bit, and we will probably use them a lot. There's also a bunch of steel automations that we still need to do. For example, we have the steel things. I don't know what, I forgot the name, but we need the steel fences automated. We need the steel posts automated. What else can we possibly automate with steel? Not really sure right now, but as soon as we get like more things that we need to automate, we'll just add it over here. Now, from the time being, there's the steel ones. I probably want to keep them in this building, and you can see I made like a little bit of an entrance here. It still needs decoration and lights and stuff. We have the map, the zone here, where you can see our main area and probably the areas where we have a couple of extra factories in. We have our power here. If we go upstairs, of course, we do already have this assembler here that's making steel scaffolding, that's the name. But we need more steel productions, and those ones will probably not be placed here. I want this area to take these items wherever they need to go, but I want to take this assembler, take him down, and actually put him on top of that place over there, right over there, where we will have 4. I think it's 4 if I remember correctly. We need steel fences, steel posts, steel scaffolding, and I think I'm missing one. Oh yes, of course, the steel mechanical component, but that one will not be here. There will be another factory. So that means that some of the steel will have to, well, go out into the world, into another factory, which is fine. It's just fine. That's not a big deal. So let's probably start off with those assemblers and put them over there. Well, I just got a little jump scare. I was just watching all of this cook, and I was even recording for a time lapse. Just, you know, a lot of resources that got stuck because some steel got in the way. So I backlogged a bunch of resources, and I was like, well, this could make a cool time lapse, you know, just seeing all my resources being processed. And then all of a sudden, everything stopped. Now I immediately came over to the lag power plant, and all was working, like all of them were working, but I had no power. And as you can see, this doesn't make a lot of sense if you think about it, because I'm using 3.2k, right? Well, right there, 3.2k. But if you take a look at the power production, it's only 12.3. It should be 12.3 for only 3 of these machines, and it is this one, and then the original one, this one. All of these 3, I guess this one is actually not producing anything. Is it just 2 of them? Wait, what? Okay, so apparently it's only these 2 that are actually powering the system with a 12.3k power usage, which doesn't make any sense, because this side has the same power usage. So what I'm gonna do is I'm probably gonna reroute some of these nodes, or these connectors. It's gonna take a while, it's gonna be very laggy, so I'll probably just do this off camera. But I believe if I go down here, you can see how I made this. We have these pipes taking the diesel where it needs to go, but I ran out of fuel somehow, or not fuel, power. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me how that could possibly have happened. I'm guessing this is limited by the connectors themselves, somehow, because I should be like producing like 36,000, I think, and I'm not. So I think my power is just stabilized. Basically, what it was down here at the bottom. I don't think I had enough connectors putting power in, or as weird as that may seem, I don't think I had enough. So I placed a bunch more, just a bunch more. As you guys can see, there's basically all of them here. Now it does still say the 12.3 thousand. I was just getting 20,000, so I don't know where this 12.3 is coming from. But I was getting 20,000 on each of them. So, and I even separated the lines, like I have the right side and the left side, and they were all fine apparently. Hopefully everything's still fine on the factories though. Well, luckily for me, everything seems to be back to normal, so nothing went wrong. I'm back to gaining biodiesel because this production stopped. I just am taking a look because this tank, as you can see, it's empty now and it was completely filled up. And that worries me a lot because that means that we've been running out of power in some places for quite a while. And I somehow managed to still gain biodiesel. Somehow. Take a look, we already have 125 here again, 125 here again, and 125 and 105. These were empty. Just AFK'd, and now we're filling back up again. So, well, not really. I still had some of it inside of here. So I do have this truck station, which had these tanks. These tanks were kind of filled up, but the power for these tanks comes from a pump that's linked to the main building. So as soon as the pump stopped working, well, there was nothing to be put into these tanks, but now I have them, and luckily for me, everything seems fine and dandy. And now I just have one question for you guys. The power plant is finished. Like, that building over there is completely finished. If you guys want to, I can also give you a blueprint of that, so please tell me down below in the comments if you want. if you want the blueprint, but I have a better or a more important question to do. Do you want me to do a design like this one, like this building that we're standing on, which looks a little bit more modern and even satisfactory-like, which was what I was going for? Or do you want me to do the bricks on the power plant itself? Because I have not decided, so I kind of want your guys' opinion on that. And do you want me to do more of these types of buildings moving forward, like these ones that look futuristic, but not super futuristic, more like a factory, a modern factory, like this one as well? Or do you want me to keep to the good old brick buildings that I've used a lot back here? Basically, they're all the brick buildings, actually. So yeah, tell me down below what you want me to do with the building styles. And I had a revelation over on here. I wanted to do the assemblers here, as we was just discussing a little bit, but I can't really do that. You see, some of these machines that I want to do or automate with the assembler, they need extra parts. For example, the steel post itself, it's not really that easy to do because the steel post actually takes stone bricks, which means I need stone, which means I need cobblestone. I need to cook the cobblestone. So I'll probably just have a building for that, or a building that produces the cobblestone and the stone and the stone bricks and then sends it to another building, which that actually comes into what we have to do next, which is more factories. More here. I need to clean this entire area. It's gonna take a while. So I believe we should start with some automated workbenches, these bad boys, because I want to automate these as soon as possible. So I'm just going to start gathering all of these resources right here. Now, I do have a little bit of redstone engineering blocks, so we're cool on this side, but we need to make more heavy and more light before we even automate them like themselves, because I do want to automate both of these blocks as well. We already have electrum automated, we just need to bring it. We need to automate the steel mechanical components, we need to automate steel sheet metals. We have copper automated, we need to automate the iron, and we need to automate these. All of these need some assemblers, so we need a minimum of 4 assemblers. No, 2 assemblers. 4 assemblers. No, I was right. Yeah, 4 assemblers, but these mechanical components do need to actually, or can be made with the automated engineer's workbench, which is what we're building. We're going to make a bunch of these to make these items, but these items also need these iron and steel and shits and whatever they call. So we can even use the immersive engineering way, or of course we can use the way we're using right now, which is basically just toss them into one of those mechanical presses, and boom, we get tons and tons of these things. Now I do have a bunch of these already here. I'll just go to take them so I don't pick these ones up by chance. And you can see my chests are actually starting to fill quite a lot with a bunch of resources. So I've been taking a look at options that I can have for storage, and I came across Tom's simple storage mod. I might add that in, but I want your guys' opinion on that. Do you think I should add it? Shouldn't I? Should I just keep the same chests and stuff that I've been using? Tell me down below in the comments. So I started work over here, pretty close to the rest of the factories, and this is where I want to make these automated engineers workbenches. How do they work? Well, first of all, they're kind of simple to build. They're not really that difficult. As you can see, they don't take a lot of items. Pretty basic, so we can do multiple of these if you want to. If we have like a bigger output, we can even make double the machinery, because I do have a lot of resources with me. But how do they work? Basically, you can assign it a blueprint and tell it, well, I want you to make this. In this case, this being the steel component. If you take a look at components, I'm telling it, well, you got the iron, you gotta make the iron component, which uses this recipe: 2 iron sheets and copper to make iron mechanical components. Pretty cool, pretty nice, pretty dandy. Now, as you can see, it does have 2 inputs, which means we need to give this 2 inputs as well. So we're gonna have to make the same system we have with the coal thingy all the way over there, where you need to insert at the same time 2 iron sheets, iron plates, and we're gonna go with iron sheets, not iron plates, and a copper ingot. They need to come in at the same time so that this does the iron thing and doesn't clog himself up, which I believe it can happen if we're not careful. And for this one, we're gonna tell it to do the steel one. For this one, we're gonna tell him to do these vacuum tubes, and this one we're gonna tell him to do the light bulbs. Now there is 3 more of these items, those being the advanced electronic components, the circuit backplane, and the last one being the electronic component. Now these ones, for example, this one requires nether quartz, this one requires vacuum tubes, and the circuit backplane just requires some sheath. But both of these require duroplast. We don't have an automation for duroplast yet. We will make that. But of course, as you can see, this takes creosote oil, and it also takes acetylene or dyed. I don't know what it's called. And yeah, and this one also comes from another refinery that takes ethanol and makes with silver plates and makes this. Of course, ethanol, as we know, comes from potatoes. Everything comes from potatoes. So most likely all of those 3 components will be made in another factory because it needs several other machinery to go with it. But these ones also need several other machinery to go with themselves because they do not work on their own. Yes, they don't. I do need to make a very complicated system of belts to come into here because we can take a quick look. For example, this one will take copper and iron. But this one will take copper and steel, you know? So there's 2 different items in there. There's the steel and the iron. And then the other ones, for example, the light bulbs, it also takes copper. But it takes glass, and I'm gonna use bamboo to be easier. And then, of course, we have vacuum tubes. Those also take copper, but they take copper wire, they take glass, they take redstone, and they take nickel plates. So you can see how this can get very, very, very complicated very, very fast. So we're gonna need something to press down items into plates. We're gonna need something to cut some copper into wire, and we're gonna need to make a cobblestone generator, which then makes gravel, which then makes sand, which then makes glass. And we're gonna need to hook up our redstone farm all the way up to our factory, because at the moment it's only been working on its own. Whenever I need some resources, I come here and I use it, but we're gonna need to actually hook this up all the way up there. Well, as we get ready to move on to the next factory, I turned all of the excavators on, and I am gonna leave them on for a while and try and see if, of course, everything kind of works, you know. I had to do a little bit of a change here with the steel, which is now there, because I was actually just sending it through there, but it was hitting the ceiling now because I now have a ceiling. So yeah, that the weighted ejector wasn't properly doing its thing. So most likely this will also be removed from here and moved somewhere else. Now, I do have the items being just sitting here, and they will be sent to, well, the locations that they need to be sent to. And I do need to make a proper storage building, which from my thoughts will be here. From what I know, what I want to build, I'll probably make it over here. Since I moved my farms up here, I can move down the storage building down here, and then I'll have a truck that will try and gather all the resources that I'm getting from all the other farms and all the other factories, and we'll take them all the way over to that little forest, which I'm gonna try and preserve some aspects of the forest this time, because I've been massively flattening the earth. I'll try and make it a little bit different here. I don't know how different I can make it, but I'll try and make it a little bit different, because I got some very, very cool ideas in mind. But with all that said, guys, it's gonna be a lot of time consuming and a lot of preparation. Which means this factory is to be built in the next episode, where I'm going to automate all of these workbenches, engineers' workbenches, and I'm going to do a lot of more automations over here. The road will still go a little bit further and then loop back around. I'll probably make another one of those towers for different purposes. We'll see if I do still need another tower. I think I will, but that's for probably the next episode, and I just made a blueprint out of that one, so it's gonna be easy to make another one. So hopefully you guys enjoy. Here's a cool view of this area from above, and as always guys, don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't, and see ya in the next one. Bye!